All right, everybody, I am back with a brand new DC update. And it's kind of funny because something is finally happening that I predicted was going to happen to Warner Brothers a long time ago. And yes, there are actually some lawyers out there who are starting a class action lawsuit against Warner Brothers. And we're going to see why they're doing it, and we're going to talk about what this means for the company going forward. But just know that the company stock is still extremely low. It's at around the $6.60 range. And whoever thought that their stock would get this low? Now, before I continue with what I'm going to show you here today, guys, I am on the march for 20,000 subs, hopefully by the end of this year. I would really like to get there, and 50,000 by the end of 2025. Next year, before February of 2026. I will be turning 50 years old in 2026, and I would like to have 50,000 subs before I turn 50. So I would like 20 by the end of this year, and hopefully around that 50 mark by the end of next year. And I can only do that with your help. So if you're new here, especially if you're returning and you watch my videos on a regular basis, please consider liking the video, subscribing, and hitting that notification bell so you will be notified when I have new videos go up. I'm going to be going to see Alien Romulus tomorrow, which if it's as good as the early reviews are saying, we're in for a treat. And so it's supposedly the movie of the summer, and I am looking forward to seeing that tomorrow, and I will have my review up tomorrow night as soon as I get back from the theater. So that will be going up tomorrow. But let's talk about the DC stuff here today. I have a few photos to show you, and James Gunn actually posted something I thought was pretty cool. And so we're going to take a look at what it is. All right, so first up I have here from Sean Levy. He confirms that Henry Cavill's Wolverine cameo was influenced by his Superman portrayal at DC. And I think that's pretty cool. It shows you that they understand the value of Henry Cavill. Everybody but Warner Brothers saw the value of Henry Cavill and how popular he actually is and how people wanted to see him back as Superman. A lot of people went to see Black Adam just because he was coming back as Superman, even though he was only in it for about 10 seconds. And so it's a shame that Warner Brothers went the route they did, but other people are starting to see his value. And he may end up as their Wolverine. We shall see in the future here. Now, this comes from one of my viewers, and I wanted to post this. I thought this is interesting. He said, I spoke with a lawyer about false advertising case against Warner Brothers. The lawyer decided a class action may not be the best course of action and contacted Warner Brothers on my behalf. Warner Brothers lawyers falsely accused me, stating they tracked my IP address and that I was part of a ring who sold digital copies. I will be 60 years old in September. I am being offered $2,500 as hush money under a confidential agreement. I don't want to settle, but the lawyer wants me to since they are making over $22,000. I have documentation to include an email from the lawyer stating Warner Brothers knows what they did, and if we went to court, we would win, but the lawyer does not want to go to court. I need help fighting Warner Brothers. Where do I start? Thank you. So first of all, we've heard of Warner Brothers doing, and I don't know, I don't have all the details on this, but we have heard of Warner Brothers doing stuff like this. You know, saying that this person they falsely accused him of selling digital copies. Warner Brothers has been known to do stuff like this to try to go after people. I know that the whole Batman Gate issue, and I was going to have that individual on my channel and do an interview, and I may reach out to him now that this stuff is going on. But he actually was sued by Warner Brothers. He tried to go after Warner Brothers for stealing his Batman story, but then Warner Brothers basically tried to sue him back and try to take his home and all kinds of other stuff. They've been known to do dirty politics when it comes to play dirty when it comes to court stuff because they have a lot of money backing them up. And this is the problem with these big companies. And I do believe that the lawyers were going to get paid $22,000 and they were going to pay him $2,500 not to pursue this any further. And I've always been of the mind that Warner Brothers has definitely done false advertising, especially with the Flash film and some of the other things that happen, and I've covered those in my videos in the past. There is clear negligence on their part when it comes to false advertising, and stuff like that needs to stop. And so if anybody can help this individual, that would be awesome. So in my last video, I told you there was somebody who was leaving Warner Brothers to go to Universal, and I forgot to mention that at the end of the video. And it is actually James Wan, the last guy to kind of get bent over by Warner Brothers with his Aquaman 2. He is leaving Warner Brothers to move over to Universal, and he is supposedly going to be doing the Black Lagoon remake, which would be perfect for him. He wanted to do a Trench movie for Warner Brothers, and that never came to fruition. And I was hoping that we would have gotten the Trench. That run of Aquaman when the New 52 started was freaking amazing, guys. It was a great run. And there were some really good stories that came out of Aquaman, and it would have been great to see this come to fruition. But I believe he could do a pretty awesome job doing this. But he's leaving Warner Brothers. He's not the first guy to leave. Nolan left. A couple other guys left. They just don't want to deal with Warner Brothers anymore. So this is what James Gunn posted that I thought was pretty cool. This can of soda expired back on December 5th of 1984. And he said, in my mom's outdoor fridge, expired 30 years ago. Well, actually 40 years ago. Is that 94? That looks like 84. I don't know if that's 84 or 94. If it's 94, it is 30 years ago. But that looks like 84. But let's take a look at what the can actually looks like. This is the cool part. Oh, look at that can. Back in the 80s and 90s, they had much better advertising. They had much better logos for products. I really wish Pepsi would go back to their original logo. There's just this, the look to this stuff was pretty awesome. That's back when things looked really cool. There was more thought put into it. A lot of the stuff today is just flashy and cheap, and I really wish that a lot of these companies would go back. I thought this post was pretty freaking awesome. You can see that Grant Gustin like that too. It's pretty cool. I love looking back at old logos. And, it's stupid, I think, that a lot of these companies change stuff because, my favorite brand is Reese's. I like Reese's Pieces. I like bringing those to the movie theater. And I love Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. They're not good for you. There's a lot of soy and other crap in them, but I love those products. And the Reese's logo has never changed, ever. It has always stayed the same. And I don't know why companies need to continually change. It is their brand. So I thought this was pretty interesting. And again, this shows you that he could have gone to the Comic-Con. He could have taken a break to go to the Comic-Con, but they chose to skip it. And it says, Frank Grillo confirms that James Gunn will be directing an episode today for Peacemaker Season 2. James just finished directing Superman. Now he's going to direct this show. And in between that, he's running DC Studios. He ain't running squat. All he's doing is directing projects for DC. He said, I'm just curious, do some people have 48 to 58 hours in a day? It's just these people are sucking up to James Gunn. They're trying to make him out to be the god of the god of DC. And he said, if you follow the habits of an extraordinary, successfully people in every field, you'll notice that they ain't 9 to 5, folks. Do what you love. You'll love what you do. Now, that is true. I will tell you that for sure. I am totally engrossed in the things that I do. Between voice acting and my YouTube channel and everything that I do, I am always on the go working on something. 9 to 5 means nothing to me. And so that is true of people who are successful. But, James Gunn could have gone to the Comic-Con. There's no question about it. All right, so here we go. The big news of the day. So, investors who lost money on Warner Brothers Discovery, Inc. should contact Levi and Korzynski about an ongoing investigation. And it says, Levi and Korzynski notifies investors that it has commenced an investigation of Warner Brothers Discovery. A prominent law firm is organizing a class action lawsuit against Warner Brothers Discovery and investigating them for violating federal security laws. Investors who purchased Warner Brothers Discovery securities are encouraged to assist the investigation by visiting their website. And so keep that in mind. guys, things are heating up. It's about time that Warner Brothers gets held accountable for their business practices. And we're going to take a look at their stock here. We're going to do it live here in just a second. Now, this I also thought was funny. Superman on Film, who is shilling for Superman to a large degree, says, he posted, I've done a total of 1 day of reshoots on my past 2 films combined. James Gunn, whose last 2 films were Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 and The Suicide Squad. Having a clear vision from day one makes such a difference. Somebody pointed out a reminder that James Gunn forced Wan and Momoa to reshoot their movie to remove Ben Affleck from the final act. He also oversaw the Flash reshoots. James doesn't have to reshoot his own movies, but everyone he has power over will be forced to. And again, this is, like I said before, it's all about James Gunn. It's all about James Gunn. He likes to make himself look bigger and better than he is, and makes himself out to be the big hero, which he certainly is not. We have yet to see him produce anything that was successful with Warner Brothers. All right, so here we go. Here is the live look at Warner Brothers Discovery stock. It is dropped 2.3% just today, and it's sitting at $6.90. So you could see that it actually opened today probably around 687. Yeah, 687 was the low. And the other day, it did, it doesn't show this chart. This is for today. You can see it started up at 7 and has dropped and continues to stay low. You could see that the 52-week low just the other day was actually $6.64. It dropped another penny just while we're looking at it here. This company, guys, is in bad shape. You could see other companies that are positive, not by much, but they are, while Warner Brothers Discovery continues to go into the red here. This is not good. You could see the different articles that have been put out by the Wrap. Warner Brothers Discovery stocks dipped 4.5%, continuing Q2 earnings fallout. How David Zaslav could save Warner Brothers Discovery as the cable bundle collapses. Warner Brothers Discovery downgraded after ugly quarter. The media giant is in a downward spiral. What Warner Brothers Discovery haters are getting wrong. That should be funny. Warner Brothers Discovery Olympics coverage hits streaming records. Warner Brothers Discovery stock is at a 15-year low. A former bull is jumping ship. And that goes back to what I talked about earlier. So there's just lots of things going on with Warner Brothers, and they're not good. For people, well, I'll talk about this. Let me switch over to the camera. So I actually had somebody in my video the other day say, you're just a negative Nelly, and all you do is talk about negative stuff when it comes to Warner Brothers. Guys, I'd love to talk about positive stuff. I wish somebody would point me to something positive that is happening with Warner Brothers. It's just not there. Their stocks are terrible. They've got a guy in charge who should not be in charge. And if, people will tell me, wait until Superman comes out and make a judgment on it. And I'm going to reserve judgment on that film. But, going in, it has to be the best superhero film ever. It has to be. It can't be on the level of what the Batman did. And keep in mind that the Batman made like $700 million. And the Batman, first of all, is a very flawed Batman film, and a lot of the audience didn't care for it, thought it was a snooze fest. That's a big portion of the population. It did get high ratings, but other films had produced way more money, and in fact, Batman is their number one producer as far as revenue goes. To think that Superman is going to reach the level of the Batman is very short-sighted. I don't think it's going to reach that level. I'd be surprised if Superman makes $500 million. But they'll call it a success. Whatever happens, they're going to talk about being this great success. And honestly, critics don't matter with their ratings. It doesn't matter if it's critically acclaimed or if critics like it. It depends on the people that go see it. It depends on the people paying the money for the product. And that's what these studios have forgotten at the end of the day. All right, guys, so there's my DC update for the day. As more information gets released, I will be covering it. I do appreciate all the support. We will see you on the next video.